couple of changes in the program. Mr. Rana Kapoor had to unfortunately cancel, and also the minister is running a little late. I guess he's caught in Bangalore traffic. So we're going to switch out a little bit, and we're going to hear from Shiv Khera, who is an author, an entrepreneur, an educator. So let's roll with Shiv.
After speaker, he inspires and informs people, helping them to realize their true potential. He has taken his dynamic personal messages to opposite sides of the globe, from the US to Singapore. His 30 years of understanding and experience has helped people on the path of personal growth and fulfillment. He has been recognized by the Round Table Foundation, honored by Lions International and Rotary International. Mr. Shiv Khera's client list includes, among others, Lufthansa, Motorola, Nestle, Philips, Gillette, Hewlett-Packard, Carrier, IBM, Ericsson, General Motors, Johnson & Johnson, HSBC, and many more. He has appeared on numerous radio and television shows. Mr. Shiv Khera is also the author of the international bestseller book, You Can Win, which has sold over 2 million copies in 16 languages. His other books are on their way to creating new records. Tens of thousands have benefited from his dynamic workshops in 17 countries, and over 1 million people have heard him as a keynote speaker. His trademark is, winners don't do different things. They do things differently.
The programs are based on two premises. One, we don't have business problems, we have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved. And two, whenever a person says, I cannot do this, they're really saying two things. One, either I don't know how to do it or I don't want to do it. Now, if they're saying, I don't know how to do it, that's a technical training education issue. But if they're saying, I don't want to do it, they're really saying two things. One, either I don't care to do it, that's an attitude issue, or I feel strongly enough not to do it, that's a values issue. And these are the two issues that we address, and we find a greater percentage of problems in most organizations across the world fall into these two categories. Folks, and we've asked this one question to most decision makers: if there was one thing you'd like to see changed that would make your organization more productive, what would it be? And guess what they came back with? One word: attitude. If our people had a better attitude, we'd have a better teamwork, quality and bottom line would go up. Think about it, folks. How come under the same set of circumstances, some people break records?
Could you switch off the video, please? Could you turn all the lights on, please? Could you turn all the lights on, please? This side here. All right, folks. This is NASCOM, and talking of turbulent times, folks, my topic is winners don't do different things, they do things. Oh, right. Folks, how many believe that people are our greatest assets? Please raise your hand. Not true at all. Folks, people are not assets. Only good people are assets. The rest are all liabilities. Are you with me? Only good people are assets. Rest are all liabilities. And folks, goodness anywhere in the world always needs to be cultivated. Evil happens. Just like if we want to have a good garden, we must consciously plant good seeds of good flowers and good fruits. But you find weeds keep coming automatically. Evil happens. Goodness must be cultivated. Are you with me, folks? Yeah, goodness must be cultivated. And after the farmer plants good seeds, he has to fight. He has to fight. You know why? Because insects and weeds are ready to come and destroy his garden. Yes, no. They're all ready to come and destroy, so he has to fight and destroy them. Because if he does not destroy them, they will destroy his garden. This is nature's law. Folks, just like in our body, we have white cells. What is the role of the white cells? They constantly keep looking for infection and they keep destroying them. Otherwise, they will destroy us. Are you with me? This is nature. This is how things work. Folks, I'm going to deviate a little bit from my topic here. How many have heard me in the past so far? How many have heard me? Okay, just checking. I'm just checking how many people have heard. Okay. Well, I just want to make sure you laugh at the same jokes, that's all. Okay. Now, let me just deviate a little bit. Folks, I wrote an article recently, which I sent to New York Times for publication, and they quickly sent me back and they said, please cut it short. So I'm cutting it short now. Folks, I've written in the article, and I'm specifically addressing startups here. Globally, survey shows that 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And in the US, 90% businesses fail within the 5 years. That is alarming. And with the speed of change, the way things are happening, the amount of information we get in one day today, we never got this much information in 100 years. Folks, how many agree with that? Please raise your hand. Now, this one is a yes. Okay. Now, with the speed of change, the way things are happening, products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched. Folks, go check out electronics. Anybody launches a product, their consultants tell them you got 180 days to make a billion before it becomes obsolete. Now, products are getting obsolete the day they're getting launched, and knowledge is getting obsolete within 2 to 3 years. Go check out engineering graduates. By the time they get to the 4th year, what they learned in the 1st year became obsolete. Go check out in medicine. By the time they get to the 4th and the 5th year, what they learned in the 1st year became obsolete. Folks, it's become a cliche, the only constant is change. Now, if the only constant is change, either we are in deep trouble, or there is a phenomenal opportunity for those who understand to master if there's anything besides change that is constant. So in that article I wrote in that going into the future, the only people who will succeed in life are people who master 3 skills that are constant. They have not changed, will never change. What are the 3 skills that we need to master which are constant? Folks, here are the 3 skills. 1, people skills. 2, persuasion skills. 3, prioritizing skills. I repeat one more time. 1, people skills. 2, persuasion skills. 3, prioritizing skills. Folks, why do I say people skills? In fact, I shot this video. It said all over the world, we don't have business problems, we have people problems. And when we take care of our people problems, most of our business problems are automatically resolved. Folks, how many agree with that? Please raise your hand. This is true again. Number 2, go check out all through history, anywhere in the world. We are hired for our skills, but we are fired for our behavior. Yes, no. Has never changed, will never change. We are hired for our skills. We are fired for our behavior. And 3, folks, the lower a person is in life, 90% of the time goes in technical skills, less than 10% in people skills. And higher you go up in life, guess what happens? It just reverses. See, folks, technology and technicians you can always buy with money. But the wealthiest person in the world must build and create relationships. Yes, no. See, in crude language, you might say you can buy a dog, but you cannot make them wag their tail. Are you with me? Now, I was addressing a business school, and there were about 500 MBA students there. By the way, I don't know, this is a NASCOM study which said 90% of graduates that are passing out from our colleges, they are not employable. They're not employable. And Narayan Murthy said, I addressed with him a few months ago, he said, the balance 10% is a question mark, and he said that includes IITs and IIMs too. I kind of agree with him. Now the bottom line comes, I asked these people, these MBA students, I said, tell me, what is the difference between marketing and sales? And typically, we got some answers, B2B, B2C, B2B, B2C, B2B, B2C, B2B, B2C. And I said, my friend, throw it out. There is no such thing called B2B and B2C. Remember, every transaction in this world is P2P. It is people to people. Remember, people buy things from people they like. Are you with me? Hello? People buy things from people they like. And people buy what they want to buy, not what they need to buy. And I asked them, are we need creators or are we want creators? They ran a blank. They didn't know what I was talking about. Are we need creators or are we want creators? They ran a blank. They didn't know what I was talking about. Folks, how interesting. We're going into the real world totally unprepared. Unprepared. We took on a Swiss company as our client, their affiliate, collaboration company in India as our client for a consulting assignment. And I got a call from the CEO, and he said, Mr. Khera, can you do some sales training for our people? So I told the CEO, I said, sir, tell me what is the end result you're looking for. Let me see if I can deliver. If I cannot, go hire somebody else. But what training to do? I said, that's my decision. Let me decide. So he said, I want my sales going up. So I said, give me a couple of days with your salespeople. So we shadowed them. A week later, I called the CEO and I said, sir, your salespeople don't need sales training. I said they need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity. He said, what? I said they need basic training in courtesy, etiquette, manners, integrity. He said, what does that mean? I said, here is what it means. I said, many of your salespeople are running late. They have appointments and they are running late. And they don't even have the courtesy to call and say, I'm sorry, I'm running late. And time to call is when? Before you got late or after you got late? When? Okay. And then they walk in late and they don't even have the courtesy to say, I'm sorry, I apologize, I kept you waiting. And then, in case they call, what do they say on the phone? I'm stuck in traffic. Now, don't get me wrong, traffic has become a real issue all over the world. But many times they leave only 5 minutes before the appointment and they blame it on traffic. They don't have the guts and integrity to say, I'm sorry, I did start late. I apologize. They don't have the guts to tell the truth. And you find only the first lie is difficult. Hello, are you with me? Second becomes easier. Third becomes easier. Fourth becomes easier. Fifth becomes easier. And very soon you are dealing with a chronic liar who is a rascal. Are you with me, folks? And tell me, if this is your starting point, tell me how long will it last? Hello? If this is the starting point, tell me how long will it last? Tell me, do we need an MBA to understand this? Do we need a PhD to understand this? You know, funny part? After doing MBA, PhD, they still don't understand this anyway. That is the sad part. Now I share with you Gallup did a survey in the US which said 63% of people who go to work are disengaged. You know what that means? They don't do their job. Second, an additional 24% are actively disengaged. You know what that means? They make sure that others also don't do their job. Folks, that only leaves 13% of people who go to work actually do work. How do you like that? You can Google this tonight. Only 13% of people who go to work actually work. So we need to understand the basics of our integrity, which means wages without work amounts to stealing. Hello? Are you with me, folks? Wages without work amounts to stealing. We need to get our basics right. And by the way, that is true not only whether we make profits out of business or we make wages out of employment. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Contracts are canceled the same way. Now, folks, one is In fact, one is people skills. Second is what? What did I say? Say it loudly. Persuasion skills. And folks, you'll find has never changed, will never change. Our parents, their parents, their parents, their parents. You see, the interesting part is, I just go back to the people skills, that today's generation is so comfortable with the computers, they can surf hours and hours. They have become very comfortable with the computers. But that is the positive side, but the negative side is that they have become very uncomfortable with people. Are you with me? They become very uncomfortable with people. But then, you don't live with computers for the rest of your life. You don't get married to computers. You can't have babies out of computers, as of now at least. Who knows later? But somebody says, who needs babies? Who needs to get married? Why have kids? I can have pets and dogs and cats in my house. Well, if they can replace them, good luck. Thank you very much. Folks, we're talking totally different language. Let me share with you the second part is persuasion skills. What is persuasion skills? Persuasion skills means ability to influence, ability to convince, ability to negotiate, and ability to sell. Folks, go check out 500 years ago. It has not changed. I repeat, ability to influence, ability to convince, ability to negotiate, and ability to sell. I wrote my book, You Can Sell. And in there, I have defined who is a salesperson. Anyone who sells a product, service, or an idea is selling, for which we need what? Persuasion skills. I repeat, anyone who sells a product, service, or an idea is selling. Folks, the greatest millionaires and the greatest billionaires became out of the profession of selling. In fact, the highest paid profession in the world is the profession of a commission salesperson. And all your startups, every new business, if they don't know how to sell, pack your bags. It's a matter of time before you fold. Are you with me? Hello? If they don't know how to sell, pack your bags. You cannot run a business. See, a candidate at a job interview, what's he doing? Selling, for which they need what? Persuasion skills. A boy, girl proposing to get married, what are they doing? Persuading each other to get married. A politician giving speeches to get votes, what's he doing? Persuading each other to get married, to get votes. And folks, let me ask you, what am I doing right now? I'm selling. See, either you are buying my idea or you are rejecting my idea right now. Are you with me? Hello? Either you are accepting what I'm saying or you are rejecting what I'm saying. Folks, every minute, we are either selling for ourselves or we are selling against ourselves. Selling is never neutral. It is never neutral. Just like leadership, it's never neutral. Either you have good leaders or you have bad leaders. There is no neutral leader in this world. Folks, are you with me? Hello? And in this book, the subtitle on a persuasion skills is, which says, you can sell. It says, in life, results are rewarded, efforts are not rewarded. Hello? In life, results are rewarded, efforts are not rewarded. Which means what? Which means we judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. Yes, no. Yes, no? That's right. We judge ourselves by our intentions, but the world judges us by our actions. Has not changed, will never change. So why not master the things that are never going to change? People skills, 1. 2, persuasion skills. And 3, what was it? Say it loudly. Third is prioritizing skills. Folks, look at this. The amount of time-saving devices we have today, we have never had that many in history. And yet, we don't have time. Look at this. Now, you know why we don't have time? Because we messed up our priorities. Folks, and priorities are based on values. And folks, I'm not here to preach anything. When I said we messed up our priorities, I stand guilty myself. I have messed up my priorities many times in life. So I stand guilty myself here. But whenever we mess up our priorities, folks, guess what happens? We forget to distinguish between what's urgent in life and what's important in life. Now, folks, urgent may or may not be important. And important may or may not be urgent. But the caveat is, whenever we ignore what is important, it always converts into urgent. For example, exercising every day is important, but it's not urgent. Health is important, but it's not urgent. But see, if I have a crucial meeting tonight and I cannot exercise, it's not the end of the world. But if I ignore my health long enough, guess what will happen? I will end up in the what? In the hospital. See, in life, folks, relationships are important, but they're not urgent. But if I ignore relationship long enough, guess what happens? We start talking to our lawyers. Are you with me? It converts into anything which is important, we ignore it, it converts into urgent. Do we need an MBA to understand this, sir? PhD? Okay. Now, folks, let me share, why do I bring this up? Folks, when we mess up our priorities, and as I said, I'm guilty myself. When we mess up our priorities, we keep complaining we don't have time. We just constantly keep complaining we just don't have time. And we keep saying time flies. Folks, if time flies, then time must be an aeroplane. Yes, no. If time flies, then time must be a aeroplane. And if we got our priorities messed up, and if time is an aeroplane, then who's the pilot? Well, somebody else is, because we got our priorities messed up, and we become the passengers in life. We are not pilots anymore. We become passengers. And supposing we are the passengers in the aircraft, and the pilot gets on the public address system and says, I have good news and I have bad news. And the good news is that the tailwinds are favoring us. We shall reach our destination 1 hour in advance. That's good news. But the bad news is that the navigation system just broke. We don't know where we are going. But then he says, don't worry. He comes from the cockpit into the cabin and says, sir, don't worry, I have a parachute for you. And take this parachute and jump. And you do jump. And guess where you land? You land in the middle of a jungle. And it is 9 o'clock at night. It is pitch dark. Now, jungle has some rules, folks. And the rules are that 10 o'clock, all the animals will come out and, sir, they will eat you up. 10 o'clock. Yep. And the only way to get out of this jungle is to run south. Now, in this pitch dark, how do you know where is south? But at this point, miraculously, a salesman appears from nowhere. And he comes up to you and says, sir, I have a watch I can sell you. I can sell you a watch. It'll tell you how much time you have left before you get eaten up. So you look at the watch and you say to yourself, what good is the watch? But then he says, sir, don't worry. In my other pocket, I also have a compass. Which one would you like to buy? Now, it's a no-brainer. I'm not looking for an answer from you. It's a no-brainer. You would buy the compass, not the clock. Now, folks, what is the moral of this little story? Why would you buy the compass and not the clock? Here is the moral to the story, and the moral is, remember in life, direction is much more important than speed in life. Are you with me? In life, direction is much more important than speed. But today, the world is moving at speed. And we don't know where we are heading anyway. I'll share. Once a young lady had a baby, and she was a career woman. And lying in the hospital, all she kept thinking was, the work. I'm behind in my office. I got projects, I got meetings, I got preparation to do. I got so many things to take care of. And she was stressed out. Two hours later, her father came in, and the girl said, "Dad, I'm behind in my office. I got so many projects. I got so many meetings. I got so much prep work to do." Father looked at her and saw how tense she was. He was a very mature man. He asked her, "Honey, tell me, who brought this baby to the world? And two, at this time, what does your compass tell you? Your clock is saying you have meetings. What does your compass tell you?" Okay. She said, "Dad, I got the answer." Folks, are you with me? Hello? We need to reverse many things in life. Folks, we have this subtitle to our book, You Can Win, which says, winners don't do different things, they do things differently. And many times people ask us, what do they do differently? And folks, my answer is, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. Folks, I repeat, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. And what are the things losers don't like to do? They're exactly the same things winners also don't like to do, but they do it anyway. Folks, you notice one thing. Losers don't like to get up in the morning. Winners don't like to get up in the morning either, but they get up anyway. Are you with me? See, losers don't like to work hard. Winners don't like to work hard either, but they work hard anyway. See, winners form the habit of doing things losers don't like to do. See, folks, how many times have you heard people talking like this? That this person is just lucky. Every time he touches dirt, it becomes gold. And this person is just unlucky. Every time he touches gold, it becomes dirt. Folks, there is truth in it. There is truth in it. How is there truth in it? Go check out, folks. I don't care how old you are and I am. Our parents said one thing: form good habits, and habits form characters. Because 90% of our behavior is habitual. We don't think, we just act. And if we have positive habits, we are a positive character. If we have negative habits, we are a negative character. And you notice one thing: good habits are hard to come by, but they're easy to live with. Bad habits come easy, but they're hard to live with. And before we got the habits got us. Yes, no. Before we got the habit has got us. See, folks, people we call lucky, check out their life. Check out every transaction in their life. You will find the positive behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it, they just do it right. It happens right. Their reflexes move right. And people you call unlucky, go check out their life, check out every transaction in their life. The negative behavior has become habitual. Every time they do it, they just do it wrong. It happens wrong. Their reflexes move wrong. Folks, you heard this phrase, practice makes perfect. How many believe it's true? Please raise your hand. Not true at all. Folks, practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever you practice. Only perfect practice makes perfect. Some people keep practicing their mistakes and they become perfect in making mistakes. Folks, I'm not playing on words. I'm not playing on words. Anybody did martial art here in life? How many years, sir? Okay, 12 months. You must have gotten close to green belt anyway. Yeah? Don't worry about that. It's not a martial art question anyway at this time. Now, in martial art, when you get your white belt and your yellow and your green, your purple and your brown, your black belt, 5 years later, folks, they're teaching the same stuff. You know what the same stuff is? Block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. 10 years later, after you got your black belt, they're still teaching block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. You know why? They want to bring the block and punch into reflexes. Because the teacher realizes that if the student is ever in a street fight, if he has to think to block and punch, guess what will happen? He'll get beaten up. A martial arts student never ever has to think to block and punch. A martial arts student never ever commits their blow till you commit. And after you commit, their reflexes move so fast, all it takes is one, it's all over. But when you join martial art, you see, when young kids join with white belt, they want to hit hard. But teacher at that time says, go slow. Go slow. Teacher says, get your form right first. Speed will come later. If your form is incorrect, your incorrect form will become permanent. And then if you hit hard, you'll fracture your own hand. Practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever we practice. Are you with me? Hello? Folks, why do I bring this here? Many times people say, this is a little lie. When the big one comes, I'll tell the truth. We practice enough little lies in our lives. When the big one comes, what happens? We end up telling a big lie. And many times people say, this is a little thing. When the big one comes, I'll show guts and courage. You practice cowardice enough little things in life. When the big one comes, what happens? You end up being a big coward. Folks, just take this one home. Practice does not make perfect. Practice only makes permanent whatever we. And the last item, I saw the time, I got to finish now. On prioritizing skills. Folks, I'm going to share with you one last item. And that is from my book, Living with Honor. It says it's better to be honorable than to be honored. Now, folks, when we talk of values, I must confess, I am not 24 karat pure. Hello? I must confess, I am not 24 karat pure. And I don't know of any book, Living with Honor, on George Bernard Shaw. Bernard Shaw once went to a social get-together and he saw a typical page 3 socialite couple. Page 3 socialite couple. What's a page 3 socialite couple? Anybody? Tell me what's a page 3 socialite couple? Page 3 socialite couple?
They're in the local news all the time on page 3 of the paper.
They're in the local news on page 3. Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that. Good definition. Great. I got to give him a book, my You Can Win, man. Give him a big hand. Can I have that book, You Can Win, please? Yeah. He's won the book anyway, regardless. Okay, thank you, sir. Give him a big hand one more. Thank you, sir. Now, folks, page 3 coupled to me means there are people who go to every party for 2 reasons, either to see or to be seen. I was also called either to see or to be seen. I was also called. And this couple had a very nasty reputation. Very nasty reputation. So somewhere during the evening, Bernard Shaw approached the lady and said, "Lady, how about spending the night together? $100. She said, "How dare you? How could you even have the guts to approach a respectable married lady like me? In fact, my husband is right there. Let me call him and get you beaten up from here and kicked out of this place." He said, "Lady, don't get mad. How about £1,000? She said, "You haven't learned your lesson. In fact, people like you don't learn lessons by words. Let me go call the host and find out how could he have invited vulgar people like you to insult respectable people like me, and let me get you kicked out of this place." He said, "Lady, don't get mad. How about £1,000,000 and nobody in life will ever find out?" She said, "Are you sure?" The moment he said, "Are you sure?" he pulled out $10 from his pocket and said, "Lady, I got $10, take it or leave it." And right away she shouted at him and said, "Who do you think I am?" And Bernard Shaw at that time said, "Lady, who you are has been decided, but only haggling price." Folks, I bring this up. Has nothing to do with the lady or the Bernard Shaw. It could happen to a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. I bring this up only for one reason. When Bernard Shaw said, "Who you are has been decided, we're only haggling price." Folks, you realize in a corrupt environment, there are people, you know who they are. They're only haggling price. It happens with our business community. It happens with our political community. I wish the minister was here. It happens with our political community. It happens anywhere. The only thing I bring up here is, folks, remember, values are priceless. Some things in life, when we lose our priorities, we forget to distinguish between what's negotiable in life and what is not negotiable. And values are priceless. You can never put a price tag on values. And the moment we put a price tag on values, they lose their own values. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Gift for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shiv. Great presentation. I think we learned a lot, especially about practice. And having said that, we're going to just take a stretch break for a minute or two till we start the awards ceremony this evening.